Good morning, students. All of you, welcome for the third session of chapter soil. Okay, let's have a glance over that what we have studied in the previous lecture. The previous lecture we studied about the soil composition. Okay, the formation of soil, and then after the formation of soil, what is the composition of the soil? Okay, so soil possess the particulate matter which can vary in three types. It can be a sandy soil depending upon large particles. It can be a clay soil. Okay, so clay soil has less soil particles. Loamy is the combination of both clay and the sandy. Okay, so that is the medium category of the soil. So depending upon the particle of size, okay, of varying sizes, particle with different sizes decides the type of soil, and also the other things are present in the soil, that is moisture, minerals. These are the essential things, and nutrients, other nutrients, organic nutrients present in the soil, that is also important, and it comes due to the decomposition of the organic matter on the surface of soil. Okay, that leads to the formation of humus. Okay, so that all comes in soil composition. Next is parental rock undergoing change. Okay, so for this all is responsible process is formation of rock. To that we call it as weathering of rock. Okay, so how it occurs step by step, and ultimately it leads to the formation of soil. So this is the process. Then we studied about the soil profile. In that we studied layers of soil. Okay, so what is that layers of soil? The uppermost layer, surface of the soil, is the layer of humus. Then below that there is a topsoil. Okay, this is also a fertile soil. Then below that there is a subsoil, okay, which has the rock particles also and soil also. It's a combination of weathered rock particles and soil. And the deepest layer of the soil is the bedrock, which contains big blocks of the rock. Okay, so that is a bedrock. So these are the layers of the soil. Now in this lecture we will study difference in sandy, clay and loamy soil. So what is the difference between this three type of soil? Let us study. So as I have listed this in the tabular form, on the left side first is serial number and then properties of the soil. So there are 5 different properties of the soil, and depending upon that the comparison of 3, sandy soil, clay soil and loamy soil, we can classify them, we can categorize them depending upon the properties. So the first property is main constituent. So what is the main constituent of the sandy soil? It is large sized particle soil. What is clay soil main constituent? It's a smaller size particles of the soil. And in case of loamy soil, clay and sand and silt present in the right proportion. So in the third type, it's a combination of sandy soil, clay soil and somewhat rock, that is called as silt, is also present. Second property is space between particles. So this is very important property of the soil, because this property of soil decides the water holding capacity. Okay, and you know what is the importance of water holding capacity of the soil. Due to water holding capacity of the soil, the quality of the soil is determined because it decides the efficiency of the soil to hold the water, and that soil is good for agriculture, for growing crops. Okay, because crops need more amount of water, so the need of water is also fulfilled by the water holding capacity. Okay, in this way. So this is very important property, that space between particle size decides the water holding capacity of the soil. So in case of sandy soil, it is quite large particle size and very large space is present in this type of soil. Then next is clay soil. Very less space is between two particles of clay soil. So the water holding capacity for sandy soil is very poor, but it is good for clay soil. And the third type, loamy soil, has sufficient water holding capacity because it is the combination of big rock particles and small rock particles also. Okay, combination of clay, sand and silt, so it has sufficient water holding capacity. Third property is presence of air. So in sandy soil, it is well aerated because there is a lot of space between the particles. Okay, so it is well aerated. Then clay soil. Clay soil not well aerated because it has very minute space between two particles. That is why aeration is not possible in this case. Okay, in case of clay soil. Then third, loamy soil can hold sufficient air because we know that it's a combination of rocks, then sandy soil particles and clay soil, so it can sufficient air in between the spaces of this soil particles. Fourth, water holding capacity. So depending upon the space between particles, the third property that we have studied decides the water holding capacity. So in case of sandy soil, cannot hold much water, clay soil can hold much water, loamy soil, right water holding capacity is achieved. Then nutrients, fifth property. So sandy soil cannot hold any nutrients because of large space size. Then clay soil can hold the nutrients, okay, because it has very less particle size, less space between the particles, and whatever the humus is formed is getting mixed with the clay soil, and it can hold much amount of nutrients. Loamy soil, so it holds the sufficient amount of the nutrients, and the loamy soil is very good soil for agriculture purposes, for growing crop purposes. Okay, so mostly the loamy soil is useful for agricultural purposes. Importance of soil. So there is a lot of importance of soil because without soil, growth of plants is not possible. If plants are not able to grow in the soil, then there is no life on the earth. Life will not exist on the earth because plants grow in soil, and plants are the producers of the planet. So they produce food, large amount of food. Okay, and then all other organisms depend upon the plants for their basic need of food. So in this way, this ecosystem is balanced. Okay, so there are many importance and uses of soil. Okay, first, soil play an important role in survival of organisms on earth. So as I said, plants are the producers of the planet. They produce food by photosynthesis, but plant grow in the soil. So if there is availability of good quality soil, then the growth of plant is possible. So soil uh, plays important role in survival of organisms on the earth. Second, it provides nutrient to the soil. Okay, what happens, the microorganisms present in the soil, they carry out the degradation of organic waste, and by this way automatically soil becomes fertile, due to the presence of various organisms. Third, it is home for many soil organisms. Many type of organisms, they live in the soil and it acts as a home for many organisms. Forest depend on soil, and agriculture is also dependent on soil. And when forests grow, we get many things from the forest. We get timber from the forest, we get firewood from the forest, we get gum, resin, tannin from the forest, we get spices from the forest, we get fruits from the forest. Okay, so these precious things are obtained from the forest, and forests grow where there is availability of good fertile soil. Okay, same is case with the agriculture, which is useful for the production of food. Fifth, the soil is used in making pottery, bricks, and many other articles. Okay, so that is also a use of soil. Different crops grow in different type of soil. A good soil has good water holding capacity, at the same time well drained to prevent root for rooting. Okay, so the soil which has much sufficient amount of air gaps and sufficient amount of particulate matter, then it also supports the growth of roots inside the ground. Okay, then the good soil is rich in humus. Okay. It is rich in humus. And how humus is formed? Humus is formed due to the degradation of organic matter. Has a lot of air space in mixture of different size particles, is loose enough to allow roots to expand easily. You may have observed soils of different color. Yes, we have seen the black colored soil, red colored soil. Okay, and the combination of this red and black. Okay, and depending upon the other minerals, the color of the soil is also changes. The color of soil is influenced by the amount of chemical, nutrients, and organic matter present in it. So it depends upon chemical, nutrients, organic matter present in it. Red or yellow soil indicates the presence of iron oxides. It is what? It is red or yellow soil indicates the presence of iron oxides. So iron oxide decides the red color or yellowish color of the soil. Brown or black soil indicates the presence of high amount of humus. Organic matter decides what brown or black color of the soil, dark color of the soil actually. Formation of soil is mainly influenced by the climate and the composition of bedrock. Okay. So bedrocks are degraded, they go under weathering, and that leads to the formation of soil. The climatic conditions like temperature, humidity, and rainfall vary from place to place, and this also impacts on the color of soil. Growing of crops in a particular region depends upon the type and quality of soil found in that region. Different crops have different amount of nutrient requirements. Okay. So growing of crops is also dependent on the particular region. Okay. Type and quality of the soil found in that region, that also influences the type of crop that will grow in such area. Different crop have different amount of nutrients. Okay, and they have different nutrient requirements that can be fulfilled by different type of soils. So that is the reason that specific type of crop is taken in a specific regions only. Any crop we cannot grow in any region. Okay, so depending upon the soil, the crop is grown, and that I have listed in the table. In the left column you can see different crops. In the middle column you can see different soil, and the region of such case is given in the right column. First crop is cotton. Okay, cotton crop needs loamy and sandy soil, means it can also grow in loamy soil and it can also grow in a sandy soil. So what is the reason that cotton can grow in such soil? The reason is these soil hold more air and water. Okay, so loamy soil can hold more air and water, and also cotton can grow in sandy soil in less water conditions. Next, paddy. Paddy crops like rice is grown in a clay soil, and the reason is this soil has good water retention capacity. Okay, this soil has good water retention capacity and it holds much water, and rice is a paddy crop which needs more water. Cereals like wheat and rice. So cereals like wheat and rice is what it can grow in clay soil also and loamy soil also. These soil have better water retention capacity, so depending upon that crops grows over there. Lentils and other pulses. So this grow in a loamy soil, and this soil is always a good soil for crop. Okay, so easily lentils and other pulses can grow in a loamy soil. This was all about the type of soil, and depending upon the type of soil, the type of crop grows in such soil. Thank you.